Hi there, I'm Tui Vu, broadcasting from the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center in San Francisco. This is Scale the Wall, powered by NASDAQ Private Market. Stay private on your own terms. For more information, go to npm.com. Entrepreneurs and small business owners always face challenges, and what they need to do is scale the wall. This is the segment where we talk about that process, and joining us today is Slava Rubin, co-founder and chief business officer of Indiegogo, the world's first crowdfunding platform, when it was founded 10 years ago. Its goal is to democratize funding for any venture. Slava Rubin, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So I was reading about the company and read that you guys were turned down by 93 VCs when you were looking for funding for the company. How did hearing no all those times change the way you do things?
Yeah, so we launched in January 2008, and the plan was we used our own money. We bootstrapped. Actually, we had people that wanted to invest even before we launched. We turned that down because we wanted to have more leverage by having more traction to get better terms. So in Q1, we were going to launch, Q2 get some case studies, and Q3 promote those case studies. And as part of the promotion, we were then going to try to raise money. The plan was going really well until September 2008 came around, and all of a sudden the markets crashed. And then the plan went right out the window. Along the path, we then got rejected by 93 VCs for many different reasons, whether it be it's a bad idea, the markets are too tight, you don't have a good team, you're first-time entrepreneurs. I mean, I heard every reason why we should not be doing what we're doing.
Was that like a punch to the gut every single time, or over time you just kind of become more and more immune to the blow?
I can't say that I was immune or not immune. It always affected me because I wanted to listen to it and learn from it. Yeah. But the key thing for an entrepreneur is they are the only ones who really know should you keep moving forward. Because you have all your friends and the people that will just yes you to death because they just want to be nice to you. And then you have the people that don't even care, or they'll reject you just because they think they know better, when really all they want to do is de-risk their own conversation. Mm-hmm. So then it's only up to you to decide, like, what is the truth?
Yeah. And what is noise?
Exactly. Yeah. And I always like to say to my co-founders, I still feel the wind is behind us. I still feel like we are actually going in the right direction. The markets, the trends, the way things are evolving, it's like with us. I don't feel like we're like running against the wind. And it got really bad in 2009. We only had enough money to bootstrap through 2008, so we're now going into our savings. I used to be much thinner because I couldn't afford rice or eating, right? And it was very difficult.
Yeah, but some hard times there.
We had hard times. And we just needed to decide, are we going to keep going or are we going to give up? And we just decided there still feels like there's some there. We're still hitting some near-term milestones that we're trying to hit. We're just not getting the VCs to say yes. By the time the VCs actually said yes, we were profitable. We had to already become so self-sufficient and so self-sustainable. We had no other choice. So the takeaway there is, be passionate, because if you're not passionate about your idea and all you're looking for is validation from a VC to say you're good, then it's going to be pretty tough out there because a lot of them are going to reject you. Yeah. So you really need to believe in your idea, and then it's up to you whether or not it's time to fold up shop.
Well, you're definitely validated now, right? Because we've seen other companies crop up trying to do the same thing you guys are doing. You pretty much pioneered crowdfunding.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see how many companies have followed us, and now there's an entire industry. And now we've had over 500,000 entrepreneurs, and putting out lots of money every week to 70 countries. It really is quite remarkable. And the incredible thing is sometimes people will come up to you and be like, what's it feel like to be an overnight success? Like, I didn't even know about you, and now you guys are huge. I'm like, well, if you mean overnight success, 93 VC rejections, and 10 years in the making, then sure.
And dipping into my savings because I ran out of money.
And actually, we didn't get paid. We used our own money for 3 years.
Wow.
So we didn't actually get paid for 3 years. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy.
What would you say is your biggest life lesson from this experience then?
I think persistence is one. You also need to surround yourself by people you really trust, because I was listening to my two co-founders and they were listening to me, and we were all weighing off each other. If you don't have the right reasons for being involved, it's hard to listen to each other, hard to trust each other. And it depends, are you doing it for passion or are you doing it for profit? If we were doing it for the near-term monetary gain, we would have turned this down or probably not even done it, right? But if we're doing it because we want to try to have an impact and we thought the world needed this and we were the ones who should bring it forward, it felt good to keep on crossing those small milestones.
I wanted to ask you about personnel issues. Have you ever fired anyone? How do you handle that?
Turnover is the worst. You know, talent is the most important thing. Having a good business model is great. You know, having good distribution network is wonderful. Having good strategy is wonderful. But like culture is the key, and culture is all about the people that you bring into the company. So I think it's really important to hire and retain the best people.
You travel quite a bit between New York and San Francisco, your 2 offices there. In fact, you just arrived from New York today, so thank you for being here. How do you disconnect and just, you know, try to get to a Zen place and recharge?
Everybody has their own way of doing that. So some people like to do meditation. Some people follow like Shabbat, like the Sabbath in Judaism. My wife and I are Jewish, so we do actually do Shabbat. For me, I actually like quiet, so I work really hard when I'm working, but then every now and then I like to get to a peaceful place. It's a little harder these days because now I have a 10-and-a-half-month-old, so there's not as much quiet even when I expect it to be, like at 1 o'clock in the morning when I think other people are sleeping or not going to be emailing me. Little baby Lev decides to start waking up and cry. But for me, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't really have ups and downs. I more just kind of level state the whole time. And I actually enjoy the work. I enjoy engaging with people. I enjoy the dynamics. If I didn't enjoy it, I probably wouldn't be here. And I think that if you actually are passionate and enjoying your work, it's easier to get through the day.
Okay, so what are the 3 biggest lessons to learn in dealing with the challenges of starting or growing a business?
Pick your co-founders really, really, really intelligently because it's critical. Trust and the relationship there and the communication is critical. 2, really focus on customer needs, not on what you think are good ideas. So it's really about validating the market, try to do it as cheaply as possible, whether it's manually, even before you create software or before you try to scale it out, just to show that there's a problem out there and the world is telling you that's true. And the 3rd thing is, it's easy for a restaurant to understand that their product is food. But sometimes we forget that in the software world, we have a product. And the product needs to be really good. And as much as you want to throw good customer service at it or a sales team against it or marketing against it, it's really important that you really focus on having that product market fit, where there's a market that the customers say they need it and you are addressing how to approach it. Because if you don't approach it that way, your competitors will, and they'll be able to, you know, all of a sudden take away all of your customers.
And you were so funny earlier. You were looking at yourself in one of the monitors and you said, I look old. Hardly, but if you were to go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
You know, I feel pretty good about most of the things I've done. There's not a lot of regret because I think anything I've done wrong, I just learn from. But if I did get to redo it, I would bring in more product talent faster. My 2 co-founders and I, none of us actually had product experience, true product experience. We had instincts, but not actual experience. And I do think the sooner would have been better. And that's what I would have told my younger self.
Enjoy the ride. Well, I'm happy for you. Congratulations on your baby and congratulations on Indiegogo. Much success to you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to be here.
Slava Rubin with Indiegogo. And join us every Friday as we scale the wall, powered by NASDAQ Private Market. Stay private on your own terms. For more information, go to npm.com. I'm Thuy Vu, and this is Business Rockstars.